Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel and Happy Christmas. Today is our last day for this advent calendar and we do need to light our last candle, of course. So let me grab some matches and I'll be with you in a second. So I couldn't find my box of matches, I have no idea where they are, and this is really worrying me, but I found this little tiny lighter machine and we light our last candle. So as you can see now the full crown is shining, and if you would like to know the meaning of the Christmas crown, this candle composition thing, go back to my previous episodes. I think on the very first we describe the candle, how it works and what are the meanings. So every candle has a meaning for us and you can keep it your own if you wish, and it's just kind of a nice little tradition over Advent. So welcome to my last episode of this Vlogmas slash Advent calendar. I really hope you're doing well. Of course, there is a make-along or a knit-along going on with this advent calendar. You can choose one of my patterns on Ravelry and the links are below. And yeah, tag me on social media or down here with the hashtag An Irish Knitting Podcast, and I will draw some winners, probably my next regular podcast in January at some stage. I wanted to draw winners today, but I fear that 24 days is not a lot of time for people to take part, so you're still in time. I don't have anything Christmas specific apart from my collection of Christmas bubble. If you want to knit them, fine. And the prizes are still being collected. So I have some Irish yarns, some patterns and a book that is coming in the post. So that is what is going to happen, and stay tuned on here because it's probably my next podcast or the one after. I will draw a winner and the winner will receive these magnificent presents. Yeah, still hoping that someone actually join the knit along because I'm recording this in advance. So, and by the way, sorry if I'm recording this in advance. I know that some people want everything live, but I will be going, or by the time you are watching this, I am back home in Italy, so I don't want to really bring my camera situation there, and it's quite awkward to film when people are around, and anyway, you got the drill. So, today it's Christmas Eve, and for us in northern Italy, the northern side of Italy by Venice, by the Dolomites, it's probably the most important part of Christmas. We light our candles. It's the day we do celebrate Christmas over there. I have spoke yesterday about the Christmas lunch, which is when the entire family gathers together, but all the meanings of Christmas, the meanings of the religious side of Christmas, but as well the emotional side of Christmas, the family, the getting together, the friends, comes on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, alongside with another couple of days during the year, has been my most favorite day of the year. One of the most favorite days of the year, and I love it because it's just full of energy, full of expectation, full of this sense of waiting for something big to come. And that something big, if you're religious, maybe the Christmas, the coming of Jesus. If you're not religious, maybe the coming of the presents in the night or the wonderful dinners. In my experience, was an upcoming of things from the very morning. So on Christmas Eve, I wake up, or I used to wake up very, very early in the morning. And you have to imagine myself as a child and the family much bigger than it is now. My great-grandmother is still alive. and my aunts are living with my family. They are quite young, and we have a big household, so a lot of people moving around. Wake up very early, I go downstairs, have a very teeny tiny breakfast, and then 8 o'clock in the morning, as soon as the shops open, my grandmother starts the car and drive into town, and I always go with her. It's a thing that happens with my grandmothers only. We take the car, we drive into town, and we go shop to shop to buy stuff for the dinner, for the night, and for the day after. To buy decorations, to have a coffee in town, meet some of her friends. It's just a big journey into town. And town for us is quite far, so it's a thing. Every shop used back in the days to give you a little token, a present. Could be a panettone, a cake, could be a bottle of wine, could be some Christmas candles, some decoration, something. So the game was to find all the shops that gave you these presents, type of thing, these freebies. And I remember that very, very fondly. And even now that my grandmother is getting older, she doesn't drive so comfortably anymore. I try on Christmas Eve to bring her around the shops and go out for coffees. Unfortunately, the shops don't give anything for free anymore, modern times. And it's just like a little tradition that we keep for our own. And yeah, that's part of the morning. That we do have a frugal lunch for Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve in the Catholic culture is one of the days you're supposed to fast. We don't really fast. We don't eat meat, but we tend to make a quite frugal lunch and dinner. We have lunch, then the afternoon is spent cooking and baking for the day after. It's full of noise in the house, full of people going in and out, doing their chores. It's just very nice. I wish everybody could experience something like that. And sometimes I wish I could still experience that. Of course, my aunts got old. They have families now, they moved out. My great-grandmother is no longer with us. My grandparents are getting older. My parents are looking at the more convenient way to spend Christmas rather than, I don't know. I feel like the magic is getting a little bit lost, but it is what it is. When you grow up, probably you see the world differently as well. Anyway, the day is spent cooking, baking, making stuff, decorating the house, and so on and so forth. In the afternoon, we do have this kind of tradition that is true only for my house and the road we live in. We make a massive pot of hot chocolate for everybody around the neighborhood. And as I said, we live in the countryside. My first neighbors are probably 20 minutes away from us, but it's a thing, and they used to come up and have hot chocolate, and we have a sort of an outhouse in our farm, and from there we make this big pot of chocolate with cream, biscuits, and everybody that comes is very welcome. And I don't know if that still happens nowadays, but I feel like it's getting less common for my household to do that, because of course the family moved into cities. There are way less people living over there, but anyway, that was a nice little thing. And then of course big dinner. The dinner is always composed by some sort of fish pasta and fish as a second course. A couple of pandoros or panettones at the end as desserts. Of course, it's Christmas at the end of the day. And then we will wait for the evening the midnight mass, which is always something really spectacular over there. I used to play the organ in my local parish. I'm a pianist myself. I qualified as a professional pianist so many years ago, although I never talk about that. And I used to help out the parish and play the organ. So for me, it was just when I was older, though, it was just getting ready for the midnight mass and putting together the choir and choosing the songs and all of that, and going there, rehearse a bit what was the schedule for the mass itself. But it's a very ceremonial mass, a lot of incense and a lot of readings and music. Beautiful, very beautiful. Even if you're not Catholic, I would recommend to go and see one of the Christmas midnight masses anywhere, even online. The Pope, I think, does it, because it's just a nice ceremony with a lot of music and colors. Anyway, that was it. Meanwhile, we are out for dinner, for mass. My grandfather usually put a big log of wood into the fireplace. Massive log of wood. That massive log of wood is a Venetian tradition that means that basically you let the log burn for the entire night. Because, do you know, Saint Joseph, Mary, and Jesus were living in a stable. They were very cold. And the tradition or the thing is that the legend is that Saint Joseph goes around all night to find little braces of wood, little logs of wood on fire to bring home to warm up this little teeny tiny stable. It's a tradition, of course, but it's such a nice thing that every time I'm not spending Christmas over there, and although I do have a fireplace here, is a gas-operated fireplace, makes me always feel quite sad, because I really like this idea of carrying on something that my dad has been doing for ages, every Christmas Eve. And that's it, and we go to bed and we wait for the day after. It's very, very nice. When I was older, and this tend to happen nowadays as well, rather than coming home after midnight mass, I generally tend to go and meet my friends, and we always end up in a club for some sort of reason. And the nights are quite interesting at the very end. There's a lot of beers involved, but yeah. We do like to wish ourselves Merry Christmas after Christmas Mass, after midnight Mass, and it's becoming a sort of a joke between our friends. There are people that are not religious at all, people that couldn't be bothered to wait for the Christmas Mass, so we do meet all together in this town square and just spend some nice time together, let's say. Okay, that's it. I can't believe I actually managed to film 24 episodes, and as I filmed this before the actual date, I don't even know if they are, if you like them, if they are being watched. But I suppose if there's no success at all on this and people are actually annoyed about my messy hair, my voice and so on, I could remove them. A lot of blathering. I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas if you're celebrating, or if you're not, take some time for yourself, your family, stay cozy, have a hot chocolate, make for once a very good hot chocolate, and just enjoy the time of work or just the time spent with your family. I really hope that I gave justice to my Christmas traditions I gave justice to the memory of my great-grandmother and my family. And I really hope you had a nice picture of what was living in a farm back almost 25, 30 years ago, in a big traditional family. And of course, I'm picturing this as an idyllic place with a lot of animals, a lot of snow, a lot of nice things, but is not being all purple and nice. People over the years are getting sick, having lost, passed away. Sometimes we couldn't celebrate Christmas at all because of all of this. Sometimes I couldn't go home. I'm living abroad, so the travel was quite difficult. And sometimes what I said is probably a little bit masked, colored by the memory of being a very, very happy child. And nowadays I'm just kind of retracing those memories with good feelings. Sometimes it's been difficult growing up in the environment, questioning everything, for example, as a teenager, questioning religion, questioning my relatives and the way they did things, questioning my very own self and don't understanding them or not being understood, not being able to open to my family. And yeah, it's not being all pink and bright and nice, but I wish to give you the best picture I could of this lovely, lovely childhood and lovely memories. I am getting quite emotional and I really hope you forgive me for this. I will stop it here. And once again, have a Merry, Merry Christmas, and I will see you in my next podcast. Bye bye.